was always the Jags.
It's always the Jags. It's always the Jags.
Always the Jags.
Welcome into Always the Jags, your number one podcast for all things Jaguars, all things Jacksonville, all things Duval. Y'all, the Jaguars are number one in the AFC South. I'm going to repeat that again. The Jacksonville Jaguars are number one in the AFC South. Let's take a look and break down how the Jaguars reclaimed our throne by taking down these Tennessee Titans out in Nashville. First thing I want to say, I actually was at the game in Nashville. I saw the tickets were $11. Like, I just randomly saw $11 tickets, and I was like, I have to figure out a way to get there. So I live in Jacksonville now, and I apologize for the mess behind me. I'm still moving into our townhouse in Jacksonville. My wife and I recently moved from Charlotte to Jacksonville, so I'm 9 hours away, and I'm like, look, I'm off on Monday. These tickets are $11. I got a big SUV. I'm going to see the Jaguars beat the Titans in Nashville. I'm going to support my Jags on the road. First thing, it was cold as crap. I do not recommend this for any Jaguars fan going to a game in Nashville in November or December because it was cold as crap, and we are not built for that. I had to ask for hot cocoa multiple times, and people saw the Jaguars attire that I had on, and they realized, oh, that's why he's not really used to this. I had my big sweater on, but still, it was pretty bad. So it was cold as crap, so be prepared for that. Second of all, I was surprised at how well the Jaguars traveled. I don't know if there were other fans coming from Jacksonville or from other parts of Tennessee or wherever, but there was a good amount of Jaguars fans there. Like, I was expecting to almost be the only one. And it's not like it wasn't as it's not like the stadium was split like when the Cowboys came to town or like when the Chiefs came to town and it was like half Jags, half Chiefs, or half Cowboys, half Jaguars, right? But there was a surprising number of Jaguars fans in attendance. Pretty much every time I walked around, I could see somebody. And I was like, oh, Duval. And we all were passing Duvals. Even as we left, we were able to throw up some Duvals, and I got some responses back. And there was a section closer to the field that was almost entirely Jaguars fans. You could see the sea of teal. And I'll post some pictures on my Instagram and on my YouTube if that's where you follow me, wherever you get a chance to look at these. So that was my initial thoughts of just, wow. Love seeing all these Jaguars fans out here in Nashville for us to get a win. And the Titans Stadium is actually pretty cool. The screen, right? You can watch the big screen as you're walking up towards it because from whatever direction you're coming from, part of the stadium is open, so you can look directly and see it. So it's pretty similar to Everbank Stadium. Slept in my car there and back at a rest stop. I brought some couch cushions and I put them in the back of my car so I didn't have to spend for a hotel or anything like that. And it was awesome. Spent a lot of time on the road, but it ended up being worth it because the Jaguars took down the Titans and left no prisoners. Unfortunately, I was a little bit late because Eastern time versus Central Standard Time kind of messed me up a little bit. Forgot the game was going to be at 12 p.m. for them, not 1 p.m. for us. But either way, Jaguars went in there and we took care of business. And that's the important thing. And that's what we needed to see from the Jaguars team. Can we take care of business? This was a classic letdown game and people were thinking that the Seahawks was a classic letdown game. No, that was a Super Bowl contender, right? So like the Seahawks were better than everyone thought. We were thinking after that big win over the Chiefs, most people still weren't sure who the Seahawks were. And they were like, they're coming to town. This could be a letdown. Turns out it was just a Super Bowl contending team. Right? Like that was a buzzsaw. The Seahawks have beaten every team in our division. I don't think the Colts are going to beat them either. So this was the classic letdown game because after our, being on a win streak and having to go to a division opponent who knows you well, because like we played that role for the Colts multiple times throughout the past 5 years. Actually going all the way back to 2014. No matter how bad we are, no matter how terrible we are, no matter who the quarterback is, the Colts can't win at Everbank Stadium. Jacksonville doesn't have a good history in Nashville. However, I will say this. Nashville was Trevor Lawrence's coming out party. That was his Trevor Lawrence's coming out party. He also suffered one of the worst losses in his entire career there. So it's kind of a mixed bag for us, right? Like the first game where we really saw the potential of Trevor Lawrence was when the Jaguars beat the Titans 36-22 in Nashville. And he was firing on all cylinders. That was one of the best. That was the first good game of his career. That game. Because that was all him. It was all him with his arm. And then 2023, we ended up suffering one of the worst losses there because it knocked us out of the playoffs. All we had to do is beat the Titans and we get into the playoffs. And the Titans did to us what we did to the Colts in 2021 when Trevor Lawrence beat them and kicked them out of the playoffs. They did the same thing to Nashville where they weren't playing for anything. They had nothing to play for. And they still beat us. And it's partly because, I think it's because Ryan Tannehill went back in the lineup. If Will Levis was playing, we would have won that game. But also if, Luke Fortner didn't get demolished on a 4th and 1 play. Anyway, so we have struggled there, right? We have struggled there. Last year, though, we swept the Titans. Always feels good to sweep a division opponent, especially when it's hated as the Titans, who demolished us during their, even when we were good, like even when we were, no matter how bad we are, we always beat the Colts. But no matter how good we are, the Titans seem to have our number. So that's why it felt so good. Like whatever the Titans did to clean house and change their culture, I'm so happy for it because it allowed the Jaguars to get some revenge on them these past few years. Because even in 2017, we lost to them twice, which is one of our best years within the storybook franchise years where we thought we should have made a Super Bowl run. And obviously going all the way back to 99, where the only team that kept us from the Super Bowl was the Tennessee Titans. The only team. So Jaguars do not like the Titans. We do not like them. And so to be able to put them down and eliminate them from the playoffs, they were already eliminated a long time ago, but mathematically say, no, you're not getting in this year, felt great, honestly. And overall, the thing that I feel the best about this game is the growth and the way that we did it. Because in most of our wins, whenever Travis Etienne has like over 100 yards, I think, I'm pretty sure we win. Whenever he has a run for 45 yards or more, pretty sure we win. That's how we beat the Chiefs. That's how we beat the 49ers. That's how we beat the Cardinals. And that's how we beat, there was another team where he had a really big run, right? One of those long gashing runs. I think it was against the Texans, actually. He had a really big run. We tend to win those games, right? But the Titans came in with a very specific game plan. Stop the run. Test Trevor Lawrence. Force him to beat you. Because Travis Etienne and Bashal Tutin couldn't get anything. They got one touchdown, maybe like 20, 30 yards apiece. It was very bad from a running perspective. But it didn't matter because Trevor terrorized them with his arm. He did it with his arm. Liam Cohen saw the game script, saw what was happening. Trevor Lawrence saw the defense, saw that they were selling out to stop the run. And he beat them with his arm. Beautiful pass to Parker Washington. Beautiful pass to Jakobi Meyers. Ended up going for 50 yards. And then once Bashal Tutin scored on that play, I think, or no, Trevor hit Jakobi Meyers for a touchdown on that play. Few plays later, fumble, LaQuint Allen, an incredible 7th round pickup. Like the drafting that James Gladstone has done. If you look at the way LaQuint Allen has impacted our team, like it seems small, right? But just this fumble recovery changed the entire dynamic of the game because it allowed us to go up by 2 scores after the Titans had marched down the field and gotten 3 and looked semi-competent marching down the field, right? And, making passes. Cam Ward was looking better than he had a lot this season. And then that fumble that LaQuint Allen caused and recovered shifted it. And I'm sure you could pick out a handful of games, a handful of plays where LaQuint Allen picked up the blitz and blocked so well that Trevor was able to get the ball downfield. There's a lot of games we wouldn't have won this year without LaQuint Allen. And that man needs his flowers. And James Gladstone needs his flowers for seeing a good running back, a good blocking running back who can play special teams and picking him up in the 7th round because he's been the difference in some of our games. He literally has. So anyway, we get a chance to go up and then 2-point conversion. And that touchdown pass to Brenton Strange. I mean, obviously Trevor Lawrence was protected really well. I don't even think he had to he was just standing there waiting for someone to come open, and Brenton Stranger's right there down the seam. And again, the Titans were selling out to stop the run, and they did. They effectively stopped the run, and so Trevor Lawrence effectively won the game with his arm. It was 15-3 after that. It went a little bit cold offensively. After the half, we were able to kick another field goal to make it go 18-3. And then after that, it was just kind of a punt fest between both teams. It's at the end of the day, we won by 22 points, which is hard to ask for in the NFL, right? Winning by 22 points, that is 3 scores, 3 touchdowns most days, at least. What more could you ask for, right? But in the second half, I did notice our offense kind of went cold a little bit, mainly because Jeffrey Simmons was able to get pressure up the middle. And that's something we're going to have to look at. I don't know how well. I think our tackles played pretty well. I think the issue was interior pressure. Interior pressure was getting to Trevor Lawrence and forcing us to end drives before we wanted to. And he got sacked, I think, once or twice. And there's a couple of times where, I don't know if I think he was just, I guess he was tucking the ball and going down instead of throwing it away. And or maybe he was throwing it and then decided not to and pulled it back and ended up getting the guy. If he was feeling that pressure, again, I prefer for him to throw that away because that would have saved a couple of the drives. A couple of those sacks absolutely killed our drives. But because our defense was playing so well, the Titans could never get back in it, no matter what. Because the Titans' defense played well enough for the Titans to be in this game. The offense didn't play well enough for them to be in this game. They couldn't get anything past the Jaguars. And that was the game we were playing without Eric Armstead and without Trayvon Walker. So credit to our defense, who's playing without some of their biggest stars. Again, if you look at the Texans defense, go ahead and take out Will Anderson Jr. and Sheldon Rankins. How many sacks is that defensive line going to get, right? When you remove the stars, sometimes stuff happens. And the Texans defense is relatively healthy this year. Ours has not. Our entire team has been injury riddled this year. And that's probably going to help us go into our next segment for what I want to talk about next. But really just an overall clean game, minimal penalties. And the penalties that we got, I mean, we actually had a lot of penalties. When I said minimal, they were minimal impact penalties. The Titans penalties that they gave up directly led to points. By that, I mean, they gave up Arden Key started a fight when the half was almost over, which gave us the chance to get an extra second and an extra 15 yards, and we kicked 3 points. That penalty led to points for us. Roughing the kicker, horrible penalty because it happens on 4th down. Now we get a fresh set of downs, and Trevor Lawrence marched them down the field for the touchdown that ended up being the knife blow. That's when we went up 25. Horrible penalty by the Titans. If those penalties don't happen, it could be a different game. We'll never know. Would have been 15-3 at that point, but those penalties directly led to points. Directly. So that's what I mean by the penalties that we had weren't as impactful in the points percentage. But when we come home, we definitely have to clean it up because the Colts are going to be able to take advantage. The Titans couldn't, but the Colts will. Thank you so much for watching Always the Jags. Make sure you like and subscribe down below. Check out some of these other videos that I'm sure you'll be interested in as we chase Duval greatness. Thank you for joining us again, and until next time.